Hey, welcome to In the Cages. I'm Pat Stafford, the owner-operator of DBAT Virginia Beach, and I'm here with our assistant GM and one of our baseball hitting instructors, Gordon Richardson. So Gordon, kind of tell us a little bit about your journey, where you grew up, and how you kind of got into the game a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Simi Valley, California. I'm a California kid, about 40 minutes from LA, and so I've been playing since I could stand, really, like 4 or 5, and been playing basketball, a little bit of football here or there, but for the most part, it's been baseball for me. Played at a smaller school, Oak Park High School in California, and played at Cal Lutheran at D3 out there for 6 years with the COVID years, and finished my career playing a little bit of indie ball this past summer in Colorado.
What league were you with?
I was in the Pioneer League.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of what led you to getting started in coaching? Like, and how'd you eventually end up at DBAT Virginia Beach?
Yeah, so I was doing a lot of summer camps. So Cal Lutheran, we had some summer camps called Lou Dog camps.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I got there, coach asked me if I wanted to work those camps in the summer. Did those for a couple of years, then COVID hit, so didn't have that opportunity that year. But then moved out here, and I'm from here. So walked in here trying to find a batting cage so I can get some reps in during the summer and the off season, and just started doing summer camps here, and started doing lessons this past summer. Some of my teammates told me that I'll be a good coach, so
It's awesome.
Took advantage of it.
Yep, that's awesome. So how would you describe your coaching or training philosophy with working with hitters? Everybody kind of has their thing, and I feel like a lot of coaches kind of pick some stuff up because kind of develop their philosophy because it's things that they struggle with as a hitter personally.
Sure.
What are some things that you struggle with as a hitter, and then how did that develop into your coaching philosophy?
Yeah, so my biggest thing is probably like timing and just making sure that you're ready to hit.
Yep.
Because I go from a lot of my personal experience, as a lot of coaches do, and I had a good swing personally, but taking what I learned as a hitter, knowing that not everything works for everybody, that some certain things you're going to be able to utilize for certain kids, and just the biggest thing for me was just finding that if you're on time, if you're early, you're on time, and making sure that your body's ready to swing is probably one of the biggest factors.
Okay. So what do you try to instill, like, with the athletes that you work with on a daily basis? What is one thing that you really try to instill in them when they come in and see you?
Yeah, just really focused reps, making sure that all their reps are intentional, that they're not just in there swinging freely, but they're really trying to work on something, whether it's making sure that their load's good, or like I said, with the timing, making sure that they're on time. If they're fouling a ball off, they're probably late. And just having something that they're really hammering down at that time. And obviously just attention to detail. When you have attention to detail, everything's going to take off from there.
Okay. So what are some common mistakes that you see players doing, not just young athletes or older athletes, but athletes of all ages? What are a few key things that typically you see hitters struggle with once they start moving up and developing more?
Yeah, I would say sometimes the bat path can be a big problem, especially the launch angle nowadays. Kids are trying to either swing straight up, or maybe they're not using their backside the right way. They're not in their legs, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of making sure that all that's fine-tuned so that they can have the best chance to be consistent at the plate.
Yeah. So we do have a couple hit tracks and reps learning units in our facility, but which is also great to have. Of when is that stuff really relevant? A lot of the metrics that we're pulling up on there.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a balance game. This day and age, everybody wants to know every exit velocity, every launch angle. When does that stuff really start becoming relevant to their training?
I think once they get to a little bit more advanced point in their development, understanding how hard they're hitting the ball and where it's going, because obviously you're inside, you're not on the field, so you can't see exact ball flight where everything's going.
Right.
If it's low line drive to the middle of the back of the net, it might just be it might not get past the infield.
Sure.
So that, and kind of getting that progression on their exit velocities, whether you're working on power, being able to utilize that to see the progression with how hard they're hitting the ball.
Oh, I gotcha. So, what are some things that parents can do at home to like reinforce what their kids are learning during their training sessions? Typically a lot of kids come in here, they're meeting with you maybe once a week, once every other week. What are some things that parents can do at home to kind of help continue their development as well?
Yeah, just like I said before, just making sure that they're really focused on what they're doing and whatever he was working on, um, whatever that player was working on in that session, just keep focusing on that because you know reps is gonna get you to that point of making sure that that swing is good. Like they
Yeah.
say, 10,000 hours of practice is gonna make sure you're in a good spot. So just really focusing on getting as many reps as possible with what he's trying to work on so that he doesn't have to think about it. It's got to be muscle memory at some point.
Yep. Okay. Well, if you play this game long enough, you realize that this game's extremely hard, and there's a lot of failures. You definitely got to be good at failing sometimes and learn how to get back up and get back to it again. What are some things that parents can do to kind of support players through that failure and kind of fuel the love of their game?
Yeah, just encourage them. Make sure that they know, like you said, it's a game of failure. So understanding you're not going to get on base every single time. You may not hit the ball every single time. You see the highest level players, they don't hit the ball every single pitch.
Right.
So knowing that if you can focus on if you're swinging at a good pitch or if you're putting a good swing on the ball, if you're making hard contact, maybe if it's a line drive right at the second baseman, try and do it again. Like it was good contact, it was a good result.
Right.
So, 3 out of 10 is going to make a baseball player in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So that, and then I go back to like Kobe Bryant. He was talking about when he was young, his dad told him, "I don't care if you score 0 points, I'm still going to love you."
Right.
So just instilling, like making sure that they know that they're still a person at the end of the day. They're not just a baseball player. They are a person in the outside world. So just knowing going out in life, it's okay. Like if you fail, it's fine. You're gonna be fine.
That's cool. So for players moving, or let's switch a little bit into a little bit older players. For players moving into high school, going from that middle school to that high school jump, what are some things that they can kind of expect? Because I tell everybody, when you made that jump from the small field, the U-size field to the big field, you're playing on the same field as the big leaguers, even as a 13-year-old. And that throw across the infield gets really long. So I call it you're going to start playing real baseball.
Right.
So what are some things that like players moving into high school can expect when they do make that transition? For example, like speed of the game, coaching, mindset. Like what are some things that they need to do to prepare themselves before they get there?
Yeah, focusing on all the simple stuff is going to be really big. Making sure that whether it's you're in the infield and you have the momentum making your throw to first, that momentum is going to help you so much. I mean, obviously, going into high school, everybody's going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger.
Right.
So being able to utilize all those small factors of the game to give you an advantage. And then, I wasn't able to do it personally, but playing up is actually really good for kids if they're able to,
handle it maturity wise.
Exactly, yeah. Right. So whether they're a little bit bigger than where their age group is, they can play up to the next age group. But focusing on the next stage of where you're playing is going to help you kind of even be at that even playing field or give you that step up.
Okay.
Obviously, everything's a little bit faster, so timing goes back to timing too with hitting.
Yeah, that's very true. So, all right. So let's talk about your recruiting process into college. What did that look like? Like, because there's multiple different levels. You have Division I, Division II, Division III, JUCO. The rules are always changing. So, kind of, what was your recruiting process like? As what led you to Keller?
Yeah, I was kind of focused on trying to find a D1 or a D2 to go to.
Sure.
I didn't really personally know that I wasn't quite developed enough to play at a D1 or a D2, right. And I didn't have any offers coming out of high school. I was playing at a program that was called the Hit Factory, THF, and I got fortunate that 2 of the coaches there were coaches at the D2 at Cal Lutheran, and one guy was the head recruiter. and he asked me, "Hey, have you thought about playing at Cal Lutheran?" And I said, "Yeah, I've thought about it. It's right down the street from my house." And um, he went ahead and gave me a recommendation, told the head coach, and a couple days later he called, gave me a tour, and I kind of fell in love with it right there.
Yeah.
So
Just goes to show you too, with your experience playing professional baseball in the Pioneer League. You don't have to be a Division I player to get the opportunity. Guys develop. I see it all the time. I see players going in Division III, pitchers especially throwing 83, 84. Next thing you know, you look up, they're 21 years old in their fifth year, and they're throwing 94 getting drafted.
yeah.
So, yeah, it just kind of goes to show you, no matter where you start at, guys have their own path, their own individual path on that. So, what's talk about coaching a little bit too. What are some coaches that were good influences on you growing up that really kind of helped develop you as a coach as well?
Yeah, I mean, my dad is probably the biggest one. He's taught me just about everything in terms of outfield, in terms of hitting, IQ, all that. But then he let me go at some point. He knew
Sure.
that there was only a certain amount of knowledge that he can give me.
Right.
So I would probably say one of my college coaches. He was I loved his approach to coaching because he was very patient and he looked at all the fine tuning of what I was doing as a hitter,
Sure.
and just kind of helped me just be myself. It took a lot of the personal mental strength to get through it because I didn't start all my years at Cal Lutheran. I started more the later years, but it was just the personal development. But he let me understand who I was as a player myself, and then guided me through that too.
So you're saying as a freshman and sophomore, you didn't get to play a whole lot.
Not in college, no.
So how to mentally, that's tough. You're playing. Let's say most guys that do play college baseball play all 4 years, sometimes at the varsity level of high school. Then you go in, you basically have a junior, senior ahead of you. How do you mentally stay in that mindset?
It was tough for sure. The first year we had a JV team, so that helped. I was able to play every single day with that shortened season of the JV team, but my goal was to play varsity the next year.
Sure.
And then that next year I only got 2 at bats, so it was a struggle knowing that the guy that was at my position was in my class and I wasn't getting any playing time. So it was just a matter of focusing on working hard myself, just pushing through. And I'll actually go back to one of my other coaches, my hitting coach from high school, Dimitri Young.
Yeah, former big leaguer.
Yeah, he is.
Right?
Yeah, he played 13 years. And he told me it doesn't matter what the coach does, just focus on you, work hard, and it's going to show. So it's a personal mental grind, but if you push through it, you're going to be fine.
And now you also transitioned from being an infielder outfielder, or was it the other way around?
I was outfield to infield and back to the outfield.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up playing outfield. My dad was an outfielder.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a shortstop.
Sure.
The year before I went to high school, so they moved me there. I tried it. I just focused on it. And I was like, you know what, this is going to be my position. And then got to college. Obviously, like the playing time was a little struggle. They moved me to the outfield. I'm like, you know what, I'm fine. You know what, I love it. Don't have to think out there.
Always got to play.
Exactly. Yeah, just get to run. Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, it just goes to show you, like, being diverse in multiple different positions really gives you more opportunities. It opens more doors for you, especially for a team that has a need. It may give you the opportunity to get up there and get at bats. So, so kind of finish it up a little bit. What is one piece of advice you would give to a younger player chasing the college opportunity? Kind of what would that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to working hard. Just trying to get better in any way you can. It's not going to show right away, but at some point you're going to see that progression. And then just being a good person, being a good teammate, having a good attitude. It's all the off the field stuff. Being a good person. They're not going to remember you as a player at the end of the day. They're going to remember you as a person.
Right. So, all right, everybody. We appreciate Gordon being on today. So he's one of our instructors here at DBAT as well. He is available for training hours. So feel free to give us a call or book online. But see you at the next episode. Thanks.